before we begin, I would like to ask you to look both to your left and your right and ask yourself, what do I see? I want you to keep this in mind for the duration of this presentation. I look before me and I see quite the group of individuals. I see valid individuals, individuals who are making a difference with each inhale and inspiring those around them with each exhale, whether it be speaking up for a friend in need or building houses for the homeless. Of course, you've heard all this before. That's because I'm largely looking at you externally, something we all do on the daily. So little attention is paid to the parts of us that lie within, the parts of us that make us one. Since we were little kids, we were taught to look at our differences, to classify what made us unique, often to our detriment. But that completely disregarded the vast similarities between us all, opening the gateway to discrimination, inequality, bullying, and so much more. Although we may not realize it, we are often intruding and excluding. And this intruding and excluding is what's creating the stigma surrounding our expressions of self. We're often ignorant interlopers in situations where we really don't know enough on a subject to implement a set of rules of what others can and cannot do. For example, it's not uncommon to assume things about a person based on their physical looks or mannerisms. Do they work out? Are they financially stable? Nice? Smart? It's no secret. We're all guilty of this. But sometimes this does more harm than good, not only to a person's sense of self-worth, but also to their standing in society, or even their physical safety. The LGBTQ+ community is often attacked simply for how we identify. I don't understand it, really. Many LGBT identifiers, like gay, lesbian, and bisexual, are subject to constant stereotyping. This imposes judgment on an individual, which may be dangerous for the LGBTQ+ community in a society where we aren't generally accepted, resulting in poor treatment. Imagine being reprimanded for simply being different, when in reality, you're just another human being with a beating heart and a will to love like anyone else. As a closeted member of the society, you're treated one way, but as soon as you come out, you're treated another. Honestly, what's the difference between being closeted and being out? You're still the same person, are you not? Nothing has changed within you by coming out. So why the new treatment? According to the Human Rights Campaign, about 42% of LGBT youth say they live in a community that is unaccepting of LGBT identifying people. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but it is when you take into consideration that these are cousins, friends, classmates, sitting alongside us in communities where they may feel reprimanded or unwanted for a simple expression of self. On the national level, take the implementation of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. Signed into law by President Bill Clinton in 1993, Don't Ask, Don't Tell allowed LGBT identifying people to serve in the military under the condition that they kept their sexual orientation under wraps. Any openly gay military personnel were to be discharged, and by 2008, more than 12,000 military officials were discharged simply for refusing to hide their homosexuality. After receiving extensive criticism from gay rights activists, President Barack Obama pledged to eradicate the policy in his 2008 campaign, finally repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2011, allowing openly gay individuals to serve in the military without consequence. Despite societal advances like these, about 4 in 10 LGBT identifying teens still live in communities where it's potentially dangerous for them to simply exist in. They are often banned from activities they have every right to take part in. And some of them, attempting to perform their patriotic duty, are no longer permitted to serve because they are transgender. Although this discriminatory ban is widely opposed, the US Supreme Court has announced their temporary allowance of the Trump-Pence administration's policy while its legal battle continues. Sure, we all have differences. Differences we should embrace, not use to fuel hate. Being different, it's not all that bad. Being different makes you you. It makes you special. There's nothing wrong with being you. A human being with a right to expression, a right to happiness, and a right to love. Is it hard sometimes? Sure. When you step into a community that might not be accepting of how you feel about yourself inside, but the more accepting we are of ourselves and others, praising our differences instead of decrying them, the more that we co-create the kind of society we wish to live in. Let's let uniqueness build us, not break us. Now, recall the beginning of my speech when I asked you to look beside you and ask yourself, what do I see? Well, now I ask you, who do you see? You might not know much about this person. Perhaps they hold a secret love for Japanese comic books, or playing an instrument they feel may not be received well amongst their friends. Regardless, chances are you also notice their similarities. You see them as just another human being. Why should anything change that? Why should things such as gender identity or sexual orientation change that? We walk through love like we read a poem. No one experiences it the same way. But you're so stuck between right and wrong, and there's no one way to sing a song, but God forbid they're any different from you. Fixated between your A, B, you forget about the A, B, or the ABC, or the ones that don't even rhyme. So quick to erase what isn't you, but you can't forget that we exist too, that we're human too. Trapped in your web of hate, do I choose whether I exist or is it just fate? Can it all just stop? Does it all just stop? Scrutinized for the love that I materialize. Am I telling myself all lies when I'm trapped underneath your eyes? Let me out. I try so hard to fit the mold of what you want me to be, pushing away the part of me you think's not right, bullying myself every day because I think I'm not right, because you've made me think I'm not right. When in reality, I am perfect. I am everything I've ever needed to be, and your standards will not change me. I will not curse myself every time I think she's cute and praise myself every time I let him touch me. I will not restrict my wandering eyes to that of guys, because I am allowed to love. And if I want to build a life with her, then so be it. Thank you.